Have tummy troubles forced you into a menu of bland food and boring meals? Dr. Nigel Brayer has a different recipe that does not include antacids in the ingredients. He's here with simple ways to stomach your upset stomach. Dr. Brayer's here with the Living Tree Center for Healing in North Royalton. Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So are digestion problems just inevitable as we get older?
You know what, Armin, as we age, the stomach does become less efficient. As we age, in particular, when it comes to medication and all the other things that people are exposed to and chemicals, it has actually sped up much more than it has in the decades previous.
And I understand that our ability to produce the acids actually decreases?
It does. By the time we're 30, the parietal cells, which is the cell that produces the acid in the stomach, actually breaks down, and so its efficiency is half of what it was when you were a teenager. So just by default alone, it's less efficient. And you add in other things and it adds even more.
And it's the acids that break down the foods.
It is.
So that's what hurts our digestion.
Yeah, the stomach is really interesting as each spot progresses to the next. So if one doesn't work, it carries its problem all the way down right to the end. And so if the food's not broken down initially, we start to see more allergies. We start to see inability to digest protein, which means more gas, more toxicity, can lead to a whole bunch of other ailments, including pain and inflammation.
And when people start to get that pain and inflammation, they start eating dry toast and tea.
Yeah, and we've heard this old saying is the elderly tend to eat dry toast and tea, and the reason is because by the time they're in the aged groups, that's all they can really digest. If they had a big heavy piece of protein, whether it be fish or meat or whatever, that's going to really make them feel uncomfortable, and they're going to avoid that.
So, should we give up tacos and we give up, the spicy foods? Is that what we should be doing? Is that the right approach?
Well, most people do that because that bothers them the most. However, what happens is when you're not, let's remove the spicy food for a moment. If you're not absorbing or digesting protein, you're also not going to be digesting and ionizing your minerals. So what we see is a lot of chronic pain syndromes ensue, muscle pain, fibromyalgia, a lot of other issues that affect the
So what do we do? I mean, give us a solution here.
The simple one I do with patients is something you can do at home. I have them start taking a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar with each meal.
Taking acid?
Yes, taking acid, which is contrary to what we think. We think indigestion is from too much acid, but research shows that when they take in food and there's not enough acid, a few hours later those cells hyperproduce and give you indigestion. So taking the acid with the food is going to actually help break down the food.
So if we take more acid, that means we'll have less stomach acid?
Yes. No, it means that we'll have less hyperproduction. So if the food goes into the stomach, the cells aren't efficient. So by the time the food's already pushed out, then the parietal cells start to work. That means they produce more acid, but there's no food in the stomach, and then it irritates.
So what's the role of the antacids, all the brand names them?
Yeah, the Nexium, the Prevaceds, the Tums, all those things
are those helpful? Should we be doing those?
Well, those things are for a specific purpose, which is to remove a symptom, which is fine. However, long term, it's not an answer because you're reducing the function of the stomach even further.
What foods should we be eating then, quickly?
Best foods, you want to eat protein, healthy protein. You want to eat complex carbohydrates, and you want to supplement, whether it be with apple cider vinegar or some natural stomach digestive enzymes.
Thank you very much for coming, Doctor. Very interesting. So if your tummy is in turmoil, consider Dr. Brayer's recipe for wellness. To find out more, give him a call, 440-877-9440.
Next, what to do when facing foreclosure.